I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill. Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a seventh-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing any 2024 XC90 hybrid in stock. If ever an XC90 was on your list, now is the time to visit Cherry Hill Volvo. $15,000.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Kids go hard, live without boundaries, play with no fear, and enjoy every opportunity. How they feel tomorrow starts today. Keep them on their toes with proactive steps to be well. Looking out for their total health and wellness includes keeping them up to date on preventative immunizations, allowing them to be their best self every day. Talk to your pediatrician about a vaccine schedule that works for you.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hey, fantasy football fans, do you want to be the owner who was doing a cram session the night before the draft? I didn't think so. You need to start your prep now. This is Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. Zach and I are here to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts with insights and advice. From sleepers to busts, we've got you covered and give you the upper hand on your friends. Today is the day to start getting ready for the draft, so join us and stay ahead of the competition. Follow and listen to Upper Hand Fantasy on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't miss our end of summer savings spectacular at Hessert Chevrolet. Get amazing deals on top Chevy models like Silverado and Equinox EV. Now's the perfect time to upgrade. Drive home a 2024 Silverado 1500 LT at 1.9% APR or a 2024 Equinox EV at 0.9% APR. See dealer for details. These offers won't last. Visit Hessert Chevrolet today or check us out at HessertChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for full details.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Some new economic numbers. We'll talk about inflation. We'll talk about the economy. There was this report. I didn't get to this yesterday. The 7 odd behaviors that are linked to a high IQ. We'll have some fun with this one. But I want to begin by talking about women and what women want. You know, years ago, I'd actually won an award on a report an extensive report on what women want: respect. And so amid these reports that, if you believe this, with Donald J. Trump at Mar-a-Lago, although he's here in Pennsylvania, I know, on Saturday, and he's expected to speak out about the economic numbers this afternoon at some point. But there are reports swirling, and they've been swirling a couple days, that Trump is concerned about the direction of his campaign, the momentum of his campaign. And we played on Kale and Company, I think that was yesterday, all the talking points by the media. Momentum. It's as if they get the same text or something. So one of the headlines is that Trump is having a meltdown. That's one way to put it. I think that it's smart. If you are in the final less than 90 days to Election Day and you're looking at the numbers, and if you believe the numbers and the Cook report showing, as I've been reporting on that each day, thinking about the column where which are the true toss-up states, and then the flip from certain states that were leaning Republican to now a toss-up. Cook report is known, and I know you know this, it's like the Bible of, if you will, of looking at elections and all the numbers. They do a pretty good job. It's interactive, much like the 270 to win that I talk about, but Cook report is the famous one and the respected one, and no doubt Trump and his team are looking at that and probably concerned about some of these poll numbers, even though they can say, well, Kamala Harris, she's in her honeymoon period and all of that, but they know that they're up against it because of the media being complicit and extremely biased, as we've talked about. The report here, and this one, there are a couple places that we want to go to, but in this one, it happens to be the Daily Mail, and the source on this one is from, remember Scaramucci? And I was sad to see him go when he worked as Trump's spokesperson for the White House, because Zioli does a spot on Scaramouche. Remember that? And he'd do that kiss thing, and it was just so entertaining and so funny, the Scaramouche. But Scaramucci is claiming that, in fact, Trump and his team on the inside, Trump is furious, and he's very upset that they picked Vance, and that Vance was a terrible, terrible pick. This is what Scaramucci is claiming. And so the former White House spokesman and staffer, he says that, what does Trump do? What does Trump do when, things go awry? Well, we know, you're fired. So he's saying there are going to be firings. And he's saying Trump is about to make a change. Remember yesterday, I think it was yesterday on Kale and Company, I believe, and forgive me, sometimes there's so much, flying at us, but I had reported, and that was USA Today, that Donald Trump was denying reports that he might be looking to bring back his former campaign manager Kellyanne Conway, who served as a senior counselor to the former president, but as well, she was the first woman, let us not forget, to run a winning presidential campaign. Jersey Girl, Blueberry Capital Queen, and all that good stuff. I'm a fan, Kellyanne Conway, and reportedly Melania and Laura Trump are fans of Kellyanne and are saying we need to make a change, bring back Kellyanne. So I'm putting all this together, and I'm simply saying that if Donald J. Trump wants to have more of a female presence in the campaign, yes, bring forth the women, show respect to them, and Kellyanne Conway, in whatever role she comes back in, I think for her to have a prominent role and to be at that table is important. I also think that, having women campaign for him, and I remember that was Kathy Barnett and I in the summer of 2016. I think it was then. Might have been 2015, but Kathy Barnett and I were at that event in Montgomery County. Maybe some of you were the huge event. Remember the Women for Trump events? And Governor Kristi Noem was there. I know Kathy Barnett was there. I know there were a lot of different women, and it was the Women for Trump campaign. Remember back when, well, Lara Trump, that was the first time I met her, she was in our old building before we did the biggity big new Odyssey World headquarters here. But that was when we were still in Old City, and Lara Trump had come in studio and this was 2015, 2016, and she was part of that Women for Trump event. So I think that, they're just bringing back the hits. The Women for Trump team, that was really popular, and they went on the road, and they were coming to local stations like Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and you'd have all these different Women for Trump, and Diamond and Silk, and it's so sad that they're we have one in heaven, but they were in studio. So I think that is a great idea for Trump to reinstate something that was a real hit. And the Women for Trump, I know he has Trump Force 47. I know we hear a lot about, and we were even complimented. I was complimented by being part of a keynote speaker for one of the Trump Force 47 events in Delco. The fact that the ground game is being credited with being more organized, more on point. I would say this would add to it, just to have the Trump for Women campaign. Some of his family members, Lara Trump obviously is fantastic on the campaign trail. I know she's busy with other things. And then that brings forth the question of Nikki Haley. She was on with Brett Baer yesterday. She still has that, I don't know, sometimes, I don't know how you find her, but sometimes I think she seems a little disingenuous. She's quick to be critical, but I don't hear her really saying, yes, I would love to roll up my sleeves. Yes, I would love to be one of those Women for Trump on the campaign trail talking about women's issues and going to the burbs, etc. But if she would do that, if Nikki Haley would do that, I think she would be a powerful voice, all of the above. And I would include Governor, I know that Governor Huckabee Sanders is busy running a state, Arkansas, and doing a great job, and she has little kids. She's fantastic too. So yes, I would say it would be a great idea in these final days, and especially during the DNC, to promote a contrast. The Kamala Harris is out of touch. And that's how I think the Trump campaign needs to focus, needs to say, and we can air we have the, talking about the unions, the union vote, and that there are those on the inside who say, yeah, Trump is going to get the working person, the union, not just union, but working people who build things with their hands, in other words. Those individuals are going with Trump this time. And in fact, he has some of the biggest numbers for Republicans among that demographic over any Republican president ever. That's huge. And we saw him getting that kind of vote in 2016. That's big. But he needs to go after the women's vote. And I think that's a good way to do it. Kellyanne Conway and all the different women who we saw in 2016 revive that whole spirit. I think that's a great idea. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. I can go so many different ways. Do you have that soundbite? Let's listen to this one. This is on CNN. And of course, the lovely Abby, and she gets that look on her face because she's, she doesn't like to hear any news that's good for Trump. So the look on her face is a little bit sourpuss, even though she's a beautiful lady. Let's play this.
But I assure you that Donald Trump is doing better among the average union member, not teachers' unions and not the unions for government, but everybody else, the trades, the people who work with their hands. He's doing better among them than any Republican has done in decades. This is not going to be a problem for him. The union leadership is more divided from their membership, and the louder that it gets, the greater the divides are going to come. And in my focus groups, and this is remarkable to me, the union membership says they don't speak for me. And I've been doing this now since I hate to say this, 89?
This is Frank Luntz.
1990? I've never had union people publicly say they don't speak for me.
Yeah, so this is Zeoli Army member Johnny Maga. Thank you for sending that out. But Frank Luntz saying that union members are telling him, and this is his first time since he started the focus groups, that Donald Trump is doing better among the average union member. And he's not talking about teachers' unions or government unions, but everybody else, all the trades, people who work with their hands. He's doing better among them than any Republican has done in decades. That's a mic drop moment that we have to recognize. People who build things. People also, I will add to this group, and that's anybody who owns or runs a business. I would include them in this group. If I, no matter where I am, and we traveled a lot this summer with my son with the Junior Olympics and all that. If I meet somebody who runs a small business, and I don't care if they used to be a Democrat, and a lot of them used to be registered Democrats, they've switched over. They are individuals who have been through it all, are now supporting Trump. So these are not traditional R's. These are people who maybe feel that the Democrat Party has left them. Just your thoughts on that. I just wanted to start out with that because I think it's significant. There's a lot of criticism over Trump. I will say I'm not worried. I actually think it's a good thing. I actually think that it's a good thing that Trump is not happy right now because he's not way ahead. Well, great. To me, I think that's what you should be doing. If you are involved in a campaign, and unless you are way ahead and you know it's a slam dunk, which nobody knows anymore, I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing. And especially because he knows what the media brings forth. The media is always in the corner of the Democrats. The media right now, and they continue, I don't have to take you through it, you know it. They are complicit, and they continue to have Kamala's back. They continue to pretend like she's all shiny and new and don't talk about her record, her past policies, her hypocrisies. She is a far left progressive, way, 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 way left of Joe Biden, and I would submit to you left of Obama, by the way. I think she makes Obama and Biden look like conservatives, quite frankly. And so she's hiding. Make no mistake about it. And that's just it. And I wish Trump would change this talking point as well. That Kamala Harris is a smart, book smart woman, and she's smart enough to know that she must avoid talking about all of her positions, her real positions, because her real positions are far left. And that's why she does the word salad. She does the word salad because she doesn't have her talking points down for what she's going to lie about. So she's doing a word salad to avoid talking about her far left policies and what she really believes in. Okay, so is she basically lying by omission? Yes, you could call her a liar, but understand this has nothing to do with the fact that this is a question of her intelligence. She cannot articulate a policy. No. This is like somebody who is lying about who and what they are. So let's say you're out on a date with somebody and they don't want to tell you, something about themselves, like they're a serial killer, and so they might avoid, right? They might avoid their past, or that they've been married and divorced 20 different times, or whatever it is. So that's what she's doing. She's doing the word salad because she's basically trying to fill the time and not really tell you who she is and what she believes in, because she knows darn well that if she really told you exactly what she believes in, nobody's going to vote for her. And so it's the job now of Donald J. Trump and his campaign to get that message out. Now, you might say, well, Dawn, isn't that the job of the media, journalists? Well, yes, of course, but they're not going to do that. And they love to say that Donald J. Trump is a danger to democracy. And essentially what they're saying by extension when they talk about MAGA, Make America Great Again, is that you are a danger to democracy. I am a danger to democracy. That's what they're saying. But the honest to God's truth is that these so-called journalists who claim that they are for the First Amendment, that they represent the First Amendment, that they are professional journalists, when they omit all of this and they don't just cover the policies or lack thereof of these individuals, and by default, then you should be covering all of the policies that Kamala Harris supported in the past, such as when she ran for president. If she's not giving her policies right now, just look just to a few years ago. Give those. Why aren't they giving them? Because they're not doing their jobs, because they're not professional journalists, because they're not really in support of the First Amendment or journalism, which means the mainstream media is a danger to democracy. 855-839-1210. Some new reports out, and this is disturbing. Even the New York Times is reporting on this. And I'm going to bring this up with Christine Flowers. She's an immigration attorney, among other hats that she wears, about this new report that this administration churning out the citizenship requests as fast as they can ahead of the November election. We'll talk about that, other immigration news, other Pennsylvania and local news just around the corner. Thanks for being here. Dawn Stensland, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. Did you know we are having a full one-day event on August 17th? It's called the Money Hacks event. You want to come to this event and you will learn how to become your own bank, how to invest in real estate without any money. You will learn the stock market, and you will learn how to build credit for cash-flowing assets, and so much more. It's a full day packed with information. Use the code 1210, that's 1210, to get a 50% discount on the ticket. Go to 4mmw.com, that's 4mmw.com, and register today.
Look at you. Your life is under control. Errands? Done. Groceries? Got 'em. It's a good time to give yourself a reward. You know the one. Your favorite tasty cake treat. Is it the delicious crimpet or the mouthwatering candy cake? No matter where you are, choose what feels right and enjoy. You've earned it. And you know you deserve it. Tasty cake, accept no substitutes.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love, and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
I am Judith Krupnik, president of Terrio Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing any 2024 XC90 hybrid in stock. If ever an XC90 was on your list, now is the time to visit Cherry Hill Volvo. $15,000.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Don't miss the education show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
The Dawn Stensland Show. Dawn Stensland live and local on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
So one of the headlines, U.S. inflation hits 2.9% in July, paving the way for the Fed to finally start cutting rates. So a slight cooling, and that's the month-to-month number. That's not overall, because it's weird how they do these different numbers. CPI today, I'll have to do a whole segment on the calendar of all these different numbers that get released. But basically, we're seeing inflation. I don't know. It feels like it's 20% higher over the last. It's cumulative, 18 to 20% higher by my own account when I go to the grocery store, when I shop. You can give me your number, 855-839-1210. How much more are you paying, let's say, right now than you were 3-4 years ago? Think about the inflation numbers and think about overall. So 2.9% is that snapshot, that monthly snapshot, July, this past July, last month, compared to a year before. But because things are cooling off slightly, then that hopefully the Fed will finally start cutting rates, and they've been widely criticized for not already doing such. So we'll talk about those numbers. You want a dose of reality? Listen to this Philadelphia mom, and this is the truth. This is what we're feeling. And this is the winning issue for Trump as well as pretty much all Republicans down ticket, whether it's here in Pennsylvania, whether it's McCormick running against Senator Casey, who's a longtime incumbent and career politician. And Dave McCormick, my criticism is he needs to do more as far as talking about somebody who, yes, served in our military as a combat veteran, but also somebody who knows what it's like to build a business, to hire people, and talk about the economy, talk about not being a career politician, but rather being somebody who's built a business after his military honorable career, fighting for our country and now fighting for our country in a different way. I think so. I think that McCormick needs to come out and talk more about the economy and how to fix that. I think this is a winning issue. But listen to this. This is this mom, Philadelphia mom, right, Henry? Listen to her. Bringing it home.
How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
Who do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. If a working class mom who works as a paralegal cannot buy a $2 bell pepper because it's now $5, imagine a mother living on food stamps. Imagine a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children. They're killing us without killing us. If you understand that. They're killing us without telling us they're killing us. They're hurting people in ways that they can't help themselves. It's either feed my child or how about feed my children and I don't eat, but I have to go work.
And so this is a Philadelphia mom, and she's tearing up. She's getting emotional. They're killing us, she says. But I find it interesting that she's blaming the federal government, but in truth, this is the Biden-Harris administration that is not bringing forth relief or bringing forth any new ideas, and at the same time allowing record numbers of millions of people to just stroll into this country, coming in illegally, most of them, and then we the people, we support them. They're getting all this free stuff as parents and grandparents and moms like this lady are saying, how am I going to feed my family? And I love that she brought up a bell pepper, because my son David, he loves those bell peppers. And then I'll bake them, and they're colorful too. They're red and they're yellow and green, not just the green ones. And I did notice even at Aldi, it's like, why are they so expensive? And they're just healthy. And then I would stuff them with like ground turkey, or maybe stuff them with a bunch of vegetables. And put some
you're getting me
cheese in
hungry
there.
now.
I know. Then you bake them.
Oh, stop.
Right? And they're delicious. And so I think it's great that she's bringing forth, talking specifically about a bell pepper, because I think that's something where, as a parent, you try to incorporate those healthy, colorful, they always say, bring in the colorful veggies. And then you can, in that bell pepper, when you stuff it full of the cheese and the ground turkey or ground whatever, and then you can also saute up a lot of different veggies that maybe the kids don't want. The broccoli and little onions in there. You can put some corn and some beans. But it's so healthy. And you bake it. You slow bake it, and you sprinkle in a little more of that cheese. It's high in protein. It's so healthy.
This cooking tip is brought to you by
Yes.
Kitchen Magic.
But to me, you know, I feel for her, and that's for my husband and I. We talk about it all the time. Like, and he's like, "What did you buy it?" Yeah, just the other day, he's like, "What did you buy at Acme?" Or even when I went to Aldi, you know. And he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's like, "Honey, I'm not going out and having a spa day." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm cutting down on a lot of different things, but it's because everything costs so much more.
Yeah, a bell pepper, you just mentioned, it was $2 and now it's $5. And just every average everyday things are just up so much. It's just unbelievable. It's just something that you would need. You know, like apples or oranges are just up. Everything is up.
Yes. Yeah, the cost of that's the Honeycrisp apples. That's
They
the
are
one we
good.
love.
Oh, yeah, they are good.
They're so good.
My wife tries to buy them, but
They're so expensive.
She does all the shopping, and she'll tell me, well, I spent this amount of money, and you only see 1 or 2 bags come in, and it's just unbelievable. But then I say, hey, I work in talk radio. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I think that this kind of thing, you know, for example, to have the Women for Trump Force 47, or however you want to say Female Force 47, however you want to I like that, Female Force 47. How do we like that one? That's a good one. Trump, and then the number 4, Female Force 47. We're coming up with this on the fly. Well, I'll tell you who's another female force. Christine Flowers, immigration attorney. She's the original Anjali woman. If you remember that famous, iconic commercial, or if you studied it in college like I did in marketing. So we'll talk to our own female Philadelphia force, Christine Flowers. She's just ahead.
The exclusive crash-proof retirement system is tried and true, outperforming the market through the worst of economic times, as it did for crash-proof consumer Larry Kipp. In 2007, Mr. Kipp's crash-proof system earned 15.8% interest, outperforming the S&P. When the crash of 2008 struck and the market dropped over 37%, his crash-proof system lost nothing. Mr. Kipp did not have to recover from the crash. His system credited 10.8% interest permanently to his account, as others tried to recoup what they already had.
People talking about all the money that they lost, and I could sit there and say, well, I didn't lose any. I knew that I couldn't lose principal, and so when the crash came, I knew my money was safe. I would say that there is a crash-proof retirement. I have proof of it.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
If the summer heat hasn't convinced you to replace your old windows and doors, then maybe my good friends at Guided Door and Window can help by giving you an extra month to do so at their best prices of the year. Take advantage of Guida's big summer sale and receive 40% off each window you buy. That's right, 40% off all expertly installed high-performance triple-pane windows. And 40% off any high-quality door, including insulated entry doors, sliding patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can easily buy now and pay later with Guida's low monthly payment plans or interest-free financing up to 18 months. Don't wait until fall like everyone else to replace your windows and doors. You need to go Guida right now so you can take advantage of these huge savings. All prior sales excluded. Offer expires at the end of August. So call Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better.
You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So the latest report says that we've not seen these numbers of the processing of citizen applications in more than a decade. And I imagine they're looking at percentage-wise, but then you think of all the people who've come into the country. So there's this push, reportedly, by the Biden-Harris administration to expedite all these citizenship requests. And so is that, well, the numbers don't lie. That's what's happening. But is their motive now clear as to why they wanted to allow so many millions of people to come into this country illegally to sort of flood cities like Philadelphia that had population loss, and then as well kind of boost the blue voter rolls, if you will? This is a question. Well, Christine Flowers is in the house. And Christine, I know you're an immigration attorney. You're a television pundit. You are a great author and writer. And I don't know. You have you wear many hats, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, darling. Great to talk to you. How's your summer been so far?
Good. It's flying by, but I'm loving this weather for sure.
Oh, I know. I love it. It's fall-like. It's beautiful.
It is. Loving it.
So it's really interesting that you started with that question because that's right in my wheelhouse. I have noticed an uptick in interviews being scheduled for our NATS clients. We call them, it's like in the business, you call them NATS, naturalization clients, people who have applied for U.S. citizenship. And I'm always very happy when, a client decides to become a U.S. citizen. I think it is the highest honor that you could pay the United States, that if you live here and if you work here legally and you pay your taxes, you want to be a part of the country, and so you take that extra step to become a U.S. citizen. And it's not easy. You have to go through an exam that I would say at least 50% of Americans, if you asked the guy on the street some of the questions that are on that test, they would not know it. So it does take some kind of investment. But I will say it is interesting that for a very long period of time, it was taking a long period of time for you to go from filing your application to the point that you actually had your interview. And then if you pass your interview, the test on the date of the interview, then it was taking another couple of weeks, months, whatever, before you're actually sworn in. Because you can pass your interview, but you're not a U.S. citizen until you're sworn in, and they give you that little flag, and they give you your certificate. Excuse me. So I do see a definite initiative, let's say, to get people naturalized, or to at least get them to their naturalization citizenship interviews. And it could be for a variety of reasons. Query, why are they doing it? Well, number one, it might simply be that they have such a huge backlog, and they did have a really big backlog, that they've just sort of assigned people in their offices to work on these cases. Why are they doing that? It could be because they do want to have people in a position where they can vote in the elections. That's one very legitimate reason. It could simply be that they want to get rid of that backlog because the naturalization cases are some of the, I don't want to say easiest, but they're the least complicated cases because someone's already been vetted. In order to get your citizenship, you have to already have your green card. You already have to have gone through a whole vetting process where they check your background and they check in your fingerprints and see what you've done. So by the time you get to the point where you qualify for citizenship, the vetting, although it should be higher because citizenship is the highest honor that you can have from this government, it's not as labor intensive. So I know a lot of people think that this initiative is to get blue voters into the polls in November, and that is a very legitimate possibility because you have to look not necessarily at the people who are going to be voting, but the people who are pushing for the acceleration of the interview process, and that is the federal government. And the federal government right now is a Democratic government, and it has a vice president who is a Democrat who is now running to be a Democratic president. And so it is legitimate to say, okay, well, that might be one motive. But I would also say that people are underestimating the independence of a lot of these immigrants who are green card holders. There are a lot of immigrants who are conservative and who, although they may not be strong Trump supporters, they are not necessarily Kamala supporters, particularly when you see what's happening at the border. And can I do like a really little detour? And I know you can jump in whenever you want on because this is your show. I'm just like talking. But, you know, people were saying that it's not fair to criticize Kamala Harris about the border because she was vice president when that bipartisan border bill was presented and then basically, you know, was took a deep dive and was not passed. But my question is, what was she doing for the first 3 years?
Yeah.
Because that border bill came in right under the, you know, in the last few months. The first 3 years that she was supposedly the border czar, and let's be honest, she was the border czar. It is everywhere. It's in the federal register, federal record. They call her the border czar. It's in interviews, it's in print media, so she can't run away from that. What was she doing for the first 3 years that she was in office, and when the flood of illegal immigration across the border reached epic proportions? What was she doing when her president decided to undo a lot of the policies that were put in place by Donald Trump to sort of stanch the flow at the border? And we can, you know, we can argue about the virtues of those policies, but you cannot deny that they definitely diminished the border crossings for a period of time. So, let's not say, oh, well, it's not Kamala's fault that things didn't go well because she tried. She didn't try, and she didn't try hard enough until the very last minute, and I don't honestly think she had that much of a role or a hand in that bipartisan deal. It was a legislative deal. It really had very little to do with the executive.
And so you do feel that this is true, that these reports saying that they've somehow sped this up, you're seeing this on the ground because you're somebody who is, in the courts all the time and dealing with people.
Oh yeah, there's definitely an uptick in interviews being scheduled in Philadelphia, in Newark, and in Marlton? Mount Laurel. Mount Laurel is the office for Trenton South in Jersey, in South Jersey, and that's where you go for your interview if you live in the counties that are south of Trenton. Trenton North, you go to Newark, and I don't go to Newark a lot for this kind of stuff, but Trenton South, there's been a little bit of an uptick, but not as much. But Philadelphia, definitely. And that is kind of interesting if you think about it, because New Jersey is a blue state. Mm-hmm. It's lost. It's already in the Kamala column, as I call it, the Kamala column with a KOLUMN. So it's already, New Jersey's never going to go for Trump. It's never going to go red. Pennsylvania is one of the keystone states, if not the most important state. Philadelphia is a huge, huge part of the state. But I'll tell you, anyone who lives in Pennsylvania who is east of the Susquehanna, they go to Philadelphia for their interviews. So you don't have to be a Philadelphian who's applying for your naturalization to go to Philadelphia. You can be in Harrisburg. You can be in Reading. You could be in the Poconos. You're going to go to Philadelphia for your interview. So it is a legitimate question to ask. And people who shoot it down as a conspiracy theory don't want to have that conversation. I'm not saying that that is the motivation and that is what is being done, because I can't get into people's heads, but it is a possibility that there is a definite push to, at the very least, have people in a position to vote in November. But I will say this, again, the Democrats may be very surprised when they're naturalizing a lot of these individuals. They may not be voting the way that they think or they want them to vote. They are, and I know a lot of my conservative friends say, oh, I don't believe that, Christine. I'm in the trenches, and there are a lot of immigrants who are conservative. First-generation Americans tend to be much more conservative than their second- and third-generation kids and grandkids. And people who come from Latin American countries, people from Venezuela, where they just overturned an election, socialist government, people from Central America, Nicaragua, where they're jailing priests and they're, it's a fascist state down there. People from Honduras, these are countries that people are coming from. They are naturalizing, and they are not necessarily going to look at Democrat policies and say, oh, I like that. I don't think so. So, we'll see what happens.
And tell me what lately you always talk about riding on public transit. When you're in Philadelphia, what are you seeing? Do you see a difference with Mayor Sherrell Parker? I know that for the first time, for example, last night, they had this newly formed task force where they're trying to involve parents and get parents involved and part of the conversation to try to, give kids alternatives, improve schools, and reduce violence and all of that. I mean, do you see a difference, and if so, where and what, with the newer administration post Jim Kenney?
Well, first of all, and we've talked about this before, I am a cautious fan of Mayor Parker. I still like her. I was thrilled when she had people, and she didn't care. She said, you're coming back into the city. You're a city worker. You're getting paid by city taxes. You're moving your tuchus into the city to work. And I love that. I love that. Some of the other things I wasn't, I haven't seen that much of a difference on the ground on public transportation. You mentioned, I was laughing. I was talking to Jimmy Kelly when I was waiting to come on, and on Facebook, it was like a week and a half ago, I was on the number 4 bus, which goes from South Philly to North Philly. It goes from Broad and Pattison all the way up to the Fern Rock Transportation Center, and I take that a lot. And I was taking it the other day, and there was a woman in the aisle across from me screaming at a woman behind me. She kept saying, get off the bus, get off the bus. I have no idea what triggered this, but she said, get off the bus. And the woman behind me, who's screaming back at the woman telling her to get off the bus, she said, you touch me and you'll never get on another bus in your life because you'll be dead. I was like, oh, great, this is fun. So I took out my phone, and I surreptitiously filmed it, and I put it on Facebook. And I said, I've just seen more combat experience than Tim Walz, because it was just it was a moment. It was a very Philadelphia moment, and it was something that I think, no matter how well you try and police public transportation, and no matter how many SEPTA police you have, you are always going to have these outbreaks. And this is unusual because this is above ground. Usually this stuff happens on the subway and on the L. So I don't think she's having quite the effective impact on the ground, on public transportation, as I would have hoped. But again, where there's a will, there's a way. She's saying the right things. She's doing the right things, forcing people to be responsible and not be lazy and come to actually work. And I remember the whining. Oh, God, the whining on social media, Dawn. It was like, oh, it's just terrible that they're making me come into work. And I was like, oh, my God. Do you want some cheese with that wine? To me, it's amazing that they said, well, society changed after COVID. Okay, well, COVID's basically over, so society is going to change back. Just get in the trenches. I think about our grandparents who actually went into the coal mine, literally went into the coal mines. And my grandfather was a trash collector and fell off the back of a truck and broke his back and was on disability for a couple of months and then went right back to work. I mean, I wonder about the work ethic of people. And when I talk to you again, when we have time, I want to talk about J.D. Vance, because I'm reading his book Hillbilly Elegy, and he is being so misrepresented by left-leaning media who loved him before when they thought that he hated Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at that, and it reminds me so much of my dad and what he went through, very poor childhood and difficult childhood. And, you make it to the point where you're a success, and society is supposed to honor that and not attack you. So, yeah. Anyway, well, when we talk again, we can talk about JD.
The media is always complicit. Christine Flowers, until next time, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dawn. Take care, honey. Bye.
Oh, you too. And you can, her latest pieces that she's written at broadandliberty.com. You can check it out. And she wrote about Harris's campaign is MAGA, Make Abortion Great Again. So, yes, the abortion debate, that's one that you'll see a lot with pro-abortion rights. That will be on full display in Chicago during the DNC. But so will all of those protesters who are anti-Jewish, anti-Israel. So we'll prepare for that one. But there's so much more to talk about this morning. 855-839-1210. We do have some developing stories, some Trump news I want to get to right around the corner.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is moving to Thursday, September 12th. Join Dom Giordano as he talks to Donald Trump Jr. about all things Trump. Just 2 days after the planned presidential debate. The new date, Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to GetCash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com. GetCash.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. I've been telling you about one of the greatest finds of Mama Zioli, besides me, of course, and that's our dentist, Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. As you know, my entire family goes to Dr. Mike. His level of care and commitment to dental excellence is unmatched. Now, if you've been putting off seeing a dentist or getting that complex dental procedure done, I don't want to sound like Mama Zioli, but what are you waiting for? Take care of your teeth. So important. You got to have a great smile. You got to look your best. Plus, Dr. Mike and his staff make it so easy to have that beautiful, healthy smile. Dr. Mike has been named a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. He has one of the most respected reputations among his peers as a master of dental implants. I promise you won't be disappointed with Dr. Mike. So if you haven't been to the dentist or you're on the fence about getting that dental procedure done, reach out to Dr. Mike today. With 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, schedule your appointment or free implant consultation today for your perfect smile. 856-786-2020. 856-786-2020 or veneriadental.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a 7th-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So we have some new developments that we'll get to momentarily. I do want to update you on former President Donald J. Trump is finally, addressing the issue that I still think it's just unacceptable, and I don't understand how they have that bad audio when he spoke with Elon Musk, because they clearly knew the audio had a problem. It was a huge back and forth, huge interview. And apparently Trump, I'm not surprised. Are you? I mean, he's very unhappy with the fact that he just sounds strange. So he says that there are technical issues to blame, which is Greg Stocker was, I think, the first one to come out here. And he just said this was a compression issue. It was a lavalier clip-on microphone issue, many different technical issues. But Trump acknowledging that he sounded different and somewhat strange. And he's pointing the finger at the platform, the social media platform, unfortunately, live streaming and having all of those technical issues. It just sounded like he was slurring at different points and that he had a lisp. And so some left-wing media, and not even left-wing, was ripping into Trump and suggesting, I don't know, that he was on medication or all this bizarre stuff. And that's just not the truth, and that was unprofessional. But he did write, if you saw this on Truth Social, unfortunately, because of the complexity of modern-day equipment and cell phone technology, my voice was, in certain areas, somewhat different and strange. That's the quote. That's what Trump posted on Truth Social, and that was late yesterday as he was, just addressing these concerns. And some people were worried about him. Did he have dental surgeries? Is he having some issues? What's going on here? And so he said, therefore, we have put out an actual and perfect recording of the conversation. So I guess, and I'm thankful for this, that they did record it in person. And so moving forward, I would hope that when everybody airs this, that they would air that recording, which is a perfect recording. So they're putting that one out there, and I'm glad for this. He says, my conversation with Elon was heard by a record audience, was really something special, as Elon himself is very special. I thank him for such a strong endorsement. So it's Trump's thank you note, and I think it's polite of him to say, hey, thanks Elon Musk. It was a great conversation. Really appreciate you. I love that. But we will continue. Moving forward, I hope all of us, we just air the one that is a higher quality audio, because this was a technical problem. And I would encourage all of my journalist colleagues, whether you work in television, whether you work in radio, whatever your broadcast platform, I would encourage all journalists, do the right thing. Of course, I know that now that they have the recording available without technical problems, that, it should not matter if somebody's a Republican candidate or a Democrat candidate. You should air the proper recording that is not marred with technical problems. I would encourage all of you, please make sure that you air the right one. We'll continue to monitor that one. A lot of great audio ahead, a lot of other developing stories and news breaking. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. Fall is approaching, and you know what that means. Football season. It's time to get in on all the action early this season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Let's talk NFL futures, shall we? How do we think the Birds are going to do this season? There's a ton of different player props like passing yards, touchdowns. Also, great team markets like to make the playoffs, win the division, and Super Bowl matchups. The Birds have to be at the top for all of these, and you can parlay together different picks for an even bigger payout. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. There's no better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook and the official sports betting partner of the NFL. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up today. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
Ship snappers moving from Kensington to Delco?
My uncle used to sell his gallstones at the Bazaar of All Nations out on Baltimore Pike. Had a nice establishment here, 3 different dart teams and 4 leagues, video poker, and hard-boiled eggs, pickled eggs. We keep them right out on the bar there.
See Joe Conklin in Delco at the Media Theater with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering the C40 lease for 36 months for under $500 to qualified buyers. This is a really fun Volvo to drive. We also have a huge selection of certified Volvos. And what about $15,000 off when leasing a 2024 XC90 hybrid? This is an incredibly fabulous Volvo. It's the Volvo I drive. Visit us here at Cherry Hill Volvo for the attention and respect you deserve.
Are you raising the child of a loved one? You're not alone. Like many others, you've stepped up to raise the child of a friend or family member, allowing them to live, grow, and thrive among people they know. While fulfilling, it can also be challenging. But there is support. PA Kin Connector helps kinship caregivers just like you by providing connections to resources, services, training, and support groups. Don't navigate the journey alone.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
An American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard helps you tackle that to-do list. Get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and rideshares, and 1% on everything else you buy, including back-to-school supplies. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
The allegation is that Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign altered the headlines of news outlets to manipulate and generate more favorable results in Google searches. So this is new analysis that has been released. I know John Solomon was talking about it. Axios was talking about it. The headlines, they say, were changed without the knowledge of those media outlets, the Associated Press, Reuters, CBS, CNN, NPR, The Independent, and The Guardian. And those articles with altered headlines were reposted as advertisements and then labeled as sponsored in Google search results. So manipulating this on purpose, obviously, for campaign reasons. Isn't that a danger to democracy or something? Can you only imagine if the Trump campaign had done such a thing? Facebook, though, no longer allows advertisers to edit headlines from news links as a way to combat the spread of misinformation. Good for Facebook. So I imagine that's Meta as well, right? So former President Trump, obviously the GOP presidential nominee, reacting to the changed news story headlines and reacting today saying, wow, Google and the Harris campaign are manipulating stories. Is this legal? Google trying to rig the election. So he's, reacting to that, being a little, tongue in cheek with it. But the changes to the news article headlines, this does raise questions. Is this a campaign violation? Is this, somehow an FCC violation? It sure seems like it seems to me like it would be election, would be a violation of election laws, right? At the very least, why isn't this getting more coverage? Not hearing too much about it. So other stories of the day, and we'll talk about all of it. And then as well, we want to make sure that, Trump is saying that they're releasing the version of his audio being interviewed by Elon Musk in a huge interview, 1.2 million viewers watching that as they were, live streaming it. But they're saying now that they're introducing and releasing a clean version and a higher quality version without him slurring. So we want to get to that as well. Henry Machette, what did you find? You did find some criticism or some good questioning of the Harris campaign. Is that right?
Yeah. So one of Kamala's spokespeople went on CNN this morning and kind of got grilled about Kamala not taking questions from the press and just doing, rallies and such.
So she has not really spoken to the media, answer questions. They're saying 24 days. And she's saying, well, I'm preparing for the convention. Well, that's just not true. But let's listen to what Henry found.
Would it kill you guys to have a press conference? Why hasn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the Vice President and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But
Michael, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the questions. Why not do it?
We absolutely are going to do it. You hear her take questions as she's out on the stump, and she said last week we're going to be having a sit-down interview here before the end of the month. What she's going to be focused on and what this campaign is going to be focused on is communicating directly with the voters that are actually going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes. That's why she and Governor Walz
to a press conference this week?
This past week. That's why we're doing a bus tour in Pennsylvania as we head into Chicago. And it's why we'll sit down for an interview before the end of the month to make sure that we can have a deep dive conversation about the vision that Kamala Harris has for where she wants to take this country and the contrast that we're going to have with Donald Trump. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that throughout the rest of
but one interview by the end of the month.
This month and throughout the rest of the campaign.
Today's August 14th.
I don't want to, belabor this, but one interview before the end of the month. I mean, that's not a lot. I mean, can you commit to a press conference before the end of the month?
We will commit to directly engage with the voters that are actually going to decide this election. And that is going to be complete with rallies, with sit-down interviews, with press conferences, with all the digital assets that we have at our
So the answer is no, not so much.
It's a great filibuster.
Who's the anchor? Because I can't see it. Who's the anchor on that? CNN. Good for him. I just wanted to.
I'm not
give
familiar
credit.
with my CNN anchors.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I never watched it. The only time I'm watching it is on a silent. And I'm looking and monitoring everything. But good for that anchor who is doing his job and he's asking the right questions. So good, and he's trying to be respectful, trying to be polite. But the answer was no. And here we are. I mean, this is August 14th. The woman has not given a news conference and taken questions from the media for 24 days. That's ridiculous. And can you imagine if that's Trump and he's just not even, entertaining questions? That's not right. And good for CNN. Unfortunately, nobody watches them. Their ratings are so low. So none of the mainstream media is really.
The anchor's Jim Acosta.
Oh, it was Jim. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm complimenting Jim Acosta. How about that? Well, that's a new day. So Jim Acosta asking the tough question, and good for him. I'll give credit where credit is due. I will say this: Jim Acosta is much more polite to that campaign spokesperson who's trying to dodge his question. Much more polite than he used to be to the then president of the United States of America.
Michael Tyler is his name.
Okay, thank you.
And him and Kamala are two peas in a pod, just talking about nothing for minutes on end.
Oh, we'll go on a bus. We'll talk at the end of the month. So in this one, and Henry, kudos to you for finding this. It's the latest poll, significant new Media Research Center poll, finding that large majorities of registered Democrats as well as independents who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 and those who would be expected to support Vice President Kamala Harris in this year's contest, they are mostly in the dark about many of the controversial and radical positions that Harris represents. And so when asked about 10 different aspects of Harris's public record on the issues, as varied as her sponsorship of the Green New Deal, for example, abolishing ICE, eliminating private health insurance. That's a big one that we talked about this initially, but the fact that we keep the receipts. I mean, there are all these interviews with her where she doubles down on saying that she wants to get rid of private health insurance. And as much, the numbers go anywhere between 71% to 86% of mostly Democrats, but also some independents, say they either had not heard of Harris's positions or they're just not sure. Obviously, that one's concerning, right? Because these individuals, they're not informed. They're just, maybe they're a registered Democrat, maybe they were for Biden, or maybe they're an independent and they're looking for an alternative. But this is significant because these individuals are saying, oh, no, I wasn't aware of that. Here's some of the...
Are they not informed, or is no one informing them? I mean, we can't get this...
Both.
Yeah, we can't get her to come out and have any stances on anything. How are they supposed to know?
This is exactly why, Henry, this is exactly why she is running the proverbial, basement, Biden in the basement campaign back in the day. So in this one, what she's doing is she's not answering the questions. She's not laying out her platform. And, to your interview with Jim Acosta that you found, that's why she's not taking questions at news conferences. Look at the survey. Harris would consider, did you know, so this is for Democrats. Number one, did you know Harris would consider allowing death row inmates to vote? 86% are unaware. Harris supported the elimination of private health insurance. 81% did not know. I did not know that. Who was famous for saying, I did not know that? It's like a movie character. Harris supported abolishing ICE. 77%. Harris promoted a fund to bail out violent protesters during the 2020 riots. 78%. I did not know that. But we can go down the list. Harris was named the most liberal U.S. senator in 2019. 75% did not know that. Harris said it should not be considered a crime to enter the United States illegally. 74% of Democrats say, I did not know that, and independents. Harris co-sponsored the Green New Deal, 73%, which is, by the way, if you have a union job, right, or a lot of these jobs, that the Green New Deal crushes those jobs. Harris never visiting a conflict zone on the border as border czar. 72% did not know. And Harris supported cutting funding for the police. 71% did not know that. Harris supported reparations payments to atone for slavery in the United States. 71% of all these registered Democrats and independent voters, Biden voters, the vast majority had no clue. This is a problem.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I couldn't believe it when I was reading. I'm glad I got it. It's just, crazy times we're living with this.
How do you? It's like you want to bang your head against the wall because this is the problem.
I hope someone like I don't know, responding to this poll kind of sat there and thought like, I really don't know anything about her, and like started thinking a little bit.
Like, how do you not know? Is for us. See, for somebody like me, I think to myself, oh my God, how do you not know? Come on. Right?
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't get angry because we don't get angry. So we have to think about how do we reach every person so we just say, hey, good for you, whatever your registration, whoever you're going to vote for, good for you, but be informed. So how do you get that message out? Who delivers that message? So my question is now, see, I wish that they would have asked in this, where do you get your news? Right? This is my question to these individuals. Where do you get your news? Which podcaster do you listen to? Who do you think is the most influential news person, podcaster, whatever? That's the question to ask.
I get my news from the Dawn Stensland show. That's where I get my news from.
Where do you think? Because I think these people, they clearly they're not really listening to anybody who's independent, who's even they're not even listening to like a Joe Rogan, right?
Right.
Who are they listening? Who do you think they're listening to?
NPR.
Because NPR would just avoid. So it's the bias by omission thing. So NPR or CNN, although you just heard CNN, Jim Acosta, at least he was asking that. So, think about it. They're watching news, or maybe they're not even watching news at all. Maybe they get their news from Twitter, which Greg Stocker, they don't know who he is because he would say, never get your news from X. So where do these people find information, or do they don't care about real information? So what do they care about? That's my question. This is the Media Research Center examination. They looked at ABC, CBS, NBC evening news coverage over the past several weeks since Harris has become the leading candidate, obviously the chosen one by the Democrats. And she's basically crowned because, and I've never said this. You won't hear me say it because I think it's kind of a moot point, but obviously she personally never, she averted and avoided the process, right? Because she was not the candidate. So what they did was they manipulated, what usually should happen. And they forced, by all accounts, they forced Biden out. They crowned her. But let's think about this. They looked at all the so-called leading news stations since Harris has become the Democrats' crowned individual. 8 of the 10 issues received zero attention, zero coverage from any of the newscasts on the so-called, mainstream media, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN. Wow. A detailed examination of ABC, CBS, NBC coverage during that same time period, I mean, that's disturbing. Zero attention in 8 of these 10 issues, these top issues that I told you about. Zero attention. So it's bias by omission. So if you think this is a mistake, that these so-called mainstream media outlets, that it's just by, we're so busy that we forgot to cover any of this. It's not by mistake. This was a poll that this survey came out between early August 2nd to August 5th. 800 Democrats who are registered to vote and 400 independents, but they all voted for Biden in 2020. And they were each asked about where they typically get their political news, as well as their familiarity with a list of left-wing positions taken by Harris. So to me, I think this is a great survey, and it gives us a great sense of where these people, where are they getting their news? Mostly by cable news. That's number one, cable news. Social media comes in next. So 41% cable news, social media about 34+%, and then it goes down from there. Wow. So that if I'm working for the Trump campaign or any Republican campaign, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, with regard to social media, how do I get this word out on social media or with influencers? And my question is, which influencer is this group listening to? And I don't want to wrongfully manipulate anybody, but to say, do you know this information? And maybe you're still going to vote the same way you voted last time, but at least you should be well informed. 855-839-1210. Take a quick break, and we'll take your calls on the other side.
Next week, all eyes will be on Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, and Rich Zeoli will be there.
Raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Listen afternoons 3 till 7 all next week for the latest news, excitement, and drama as it unfolds. Rich Zeoli live from the Democratic National Convention. Afternoons 3 till 7 all next week. Only on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts donated 300 air conditioning units for Philly schools. Montgomery County bathrooms will now be stocked with free tampons and pads. And 7-time Grammy winner Casey Musgraves posted a no-context video of herself and her friends singing "Here Come the Sixers" on Instagram.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Homeowners, improve your family's comfort with a Bradford White water heater and enjoy all the hot water your household needs all day, every day. With Bradford White, you get more than just a water heater. You get our commitment to quality and reliability that you can trust. How you heat your water matters, so don't compromise when it comes to your home or your hot water. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best because your home deserves it. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find an installation pro near you.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
So Trump Force 47 events, and there are like 42 Pennsylvania events. Trump Force 47, there's a phone bank event. So Dauphin, PA, there's one tonight in Bucks County. If you go to TrumpForce47.com and you want to get involved, this is 642 Newtown, Yardley Road, Newtown, PA. Join us at the headquarters for a night of phone banking. You can make calls from your cell phone or your laptop. They said they strongly suggest you bring headphones, refreshments provided. Ooh, what kind of refreshments? No, I'm just kidding. But they're saying please email Ava with any questions. So it's Ava S, the little @ PAGOP.org. And you can go to TrumpForce47.com and you'll see it. But this is this evening at 6 p.m. So they have all these different events, local events. Trump, I said, was speaking this Saturday. He's going to be in the Wilkes-Barre area. And they have one in, actually, there's another one. There's Trump Force 47, those captains, they're meeting, and that's tonight as well in Chester. So it's all across Pennsylvania, though. They have a ton for sure. I'm trying to see if they have that October one. I don't see that listed, though, because we all want to go to that one, don't you? Loudon Beaver, PA, Erie, PA. I'm looking through to see if they have the October one. But a ton of events in Pennsylvania, as well as, where's the other one? Michigan, 47 events in the next month. In Ohio, only 18 events. Minnesota, 43 events. Another one, Nevada, 42 events just in the next month. And then Arizona, 51 events. And you can clearly see what they're focused on. They're focused on Georgia, 43 events. So you can always, they want volunteers. They're trying to get the word out. So if you want to become involved, become informed, there are a ton of events and a ton of ways that you can get involved. 855-839-1210. So Jimmy said, I apologize. Some of you, we dropped off or we lost you. So sorry, John, for that. Then somebody else called and said, you guys are going to lose. So I don't know what he meant by you guys.
Well, he's probably just calling as Rush would say, a drive-by call. You guys are going to lose. And I tried to take his name, and he just didn't want to go on the air.
Yeah, and I would say the most important piece of this is that when you say you guys, the one we don't want to lose, as far as to lose, is the American people. Because you get it, right? That no matter what happens November 5th, Donald J. Trump, he goes on with his life, right? He has a great life. He was already a successful billionaire businessman. He has an amazing life, beautiful wife, beautiful family. So he's going to go on and live his life. If Kamala Harris, for example, if she and her good buddy Tim Walz, they lose, well, Kamala then, she leaves the White House. She's the vice president of the United States of America. So she goes on, she and her very wealthy Hollywood husband, right?
Yeah,
who she married. She married for the first time. She got married in her early 50s, right? She's going to go back and live her lavish lifestyle. She has a good life. She'll go on a speaking circuit and make, $250,000 or whatever they make as the former Veep. and she'll be on every board, and she'll go on to live her good life. So I just want you to think about that for a moment. They don't lose as an individual. You get that, right? They all of them go on to live their good life, which the life that they lead as far as the quality of their life, how they live, what they can afford, is, in truth, it's better than anything you or I could ever imagine. Okay,
Yeah.
so the truth is, what we should think about is, what do we lose? What do we, the people, what do we have at stake here? And that's why we need to just look at the policy and make sure that that policy of that candidate that you're supporting is going to make sure that you don't lose any more than you've lost over the past 4 years, right? To make sure that you get the best policy to support you, your business, your family, everything you hope and dream and pray for, right? That's really what I'm talking about. And we don't talk about that enough. 855-839-1210. I know Jim is, where are you, Haddonfield? Hey, Jim.
Good morning, Dawn. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. Real quick, I want to talk about a lot of people are not looking at the presidential election in North Carolina right now, but it relates so close to what happened in Pennsylvania. You know, Josh Shapiro, everybody talks about how popular he is, and he has a 61% favorability in a 50-50 state. But, you know, he ran against a guy, which, you know, whether you agree or not, he was an awful, awful candidate, and Shapiro crushed him. And I wonder, it's not that Shapiro might not have been as popular as the other guy was bad. And in North Carolina, are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Mark Robinson?
Yes.
Mark Robinson has to be the worst candidate for governor that North Carolina could put up.
Okay.
He's now down by 10 points, and it's killing the Trump campaign down there in North Carolina, which I thought was a given, is now tied, or some polls have her up. I don't understand why we put up some of these candidates that we know are awful. And I'll tell you what, if Trump loses North Carolina, again, whether you agree or not, that could be death in terms of the election. What do you think?
Well, okay, first of all, as far as Mark Robinson, ironically, I was just recently in Greensboro, North Carolina, and he's actually from there, which is it's kind of funny that you asked me about it, because he happens to be he's a native of Greensboro, North Carolina. He's an Army veteran, and he's currently, I believe, the lieutenant governor, right, of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's also happens to be an African American gentleman, like I say, and a proud Army veteran, military veteran. As far as North Carolina, you know, if we want to talk about, I don't know how that really relates to Josh Shapiro. I guess that you're saying that when he ran against Mastriano, you know, Mastriano was a relative novice, if you will. He's not a career politician at all. And Josh Shapiro has obviously been in the world of politics for many decades of his life. And so he was running against somebody who was a newbie, albeit a military and combat veteran in Doug Mastriano, who I've interviewed, heard me interview Doug, and I know Dom has interviewed him many times as well, and who remains a state senator, by the way, and is doing a great job in Pennsylvania here. But as far as North Carolina, I know that they say that they're saying it's still a swing state. I don't know that it is. And I also don't know down ticket, and this goes both ways, because that's really what your point is about down ticket.
Yes.
And whether or not Trump has coattails. And so I think the point that you're making, which is a good one, and the polls support this, is that all elections are local. In other words, Trump may very well win the top of the ticket, but how does that translate down ticket? For example, for somebody like Dave McCormick, who's running against, Bob Casey Jr., who is a longtime incumbent, who is a rubber stamp for the Biden-Harris administration. And yet, if you believe all the polls show that that Casey still handily wins over McCormick. That's the snapshot of the polls. So does Trump have coattails? And the answer is not necessarily because of what you're saying, Jim. What you're saying is that if you have a bad candidate or somebody who's not as popular or does not resonate, that no longer delivers the slam dunk. And that prevents the red waves. So it kind of goes both ways, right? But I think that in part, that's why Democrats, why they decided to pull the trigger on Biden, because they worried that the lack of enthusiasm and the lack of fundraising could, in fact, create the red wave by default, if you will. That, in other words, that with Biden still at the top of the ticket, it was just lackluster. There was no excitement. There was no momentum. The fundraising was way down. And so, therefore, the Democrats thought, well, you know what? At the very least, we can create new excitement. We can invigorate Democrats down ticket, even if we're gonna lose the top of the ticket. Maybe we can just salvage, for example, the Senate and not lose the Senate and the House and the White House. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I agree.
So, and everybody wants to blame, everybody wants to blame Trump, right? Everybody wants to blame Trump for, the not having enough of coattails. It just depends on the quality of the candidate. I mean, is he endorsing Dave McCormick? He is. McCormick is the candidate. I don't think at some point you as the candidate have to be better. Or as Melania would say, be best. Do a better job. And so everybody's got to, it's got to be all hands on deck. Remember with Dr. Oz, everybody said, oh, Trump never should have chosen Dr. Oz. Not for nothing, Dr. Oz took the summer off. Remember that? I mean, where was he? Where was Dr. Oz? Remember this? We're all looking for him. Where was he? He just took time off. That's ridiculous. For Dave McCormick needs to work harder than he is. And this is a guy who has a work ethic. And he served our country honorably as a combat veteran. Whatever you do, Dave McCormick, you need to triple it. You need to do better. Every candidate across the board, work harder, do better, knock on every door. By the way, do what Kathy did. Kathy Barnett, that woman, I'm a huge Kathy fan. Kathy worked so hard, but the way that she came out of nowhere was that Kathy Barnett literally did the old school, old fashioned. She personally, she just walked and knocked on every door and introduced herself and worked hard and said, just as hard as I'm campaigning, I'm going to work even harder for you, Pennsylvania. And that's the kind of campaign we need to see every single, whether it's Dave McCormick, whether it's what you're talking about in North Carolina, whether it's getting Nikki Haley, get off your tuchus, quit talking to Brett Baer in a studio, get out there. If for every person who claims that they support the policies of Republicans or Donald J. Trump, for everyone who claims it, prove it. I don't believe you until you prove it. I don't believe you until you knock on my door, on every door. Everybody needs to work harder, get it right, and do right. 855-839-1210. I know I have to take a quick break, but I also have to talk about if you're tired of that old kitchen or bathroom, you got to give my friends at Kitchen Magic a call. They offer no shortage of solutions for any room in your home. What about that new vanity? What about that tub shower conversion? You are going to love that new bathroom. Plus, Kitchen Magic offers an industry-leading warranty. Plus, they are a 10-year recipient of the Lehigh Valley's top workplaces. Right now, Kitchen Magic offering 12 months, no payments, no interest financing, plus 10% off your remodel. So get your free in-home consultation today. KitchenMagic.com. KitchenMagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Discover Lancaster.
The pleasant mid-August weather pattern continues through the rest of the work week. Mixture of sunshine and clouds today, warmer but not humid, high 87. Tonight, mostly clear, comfortable, low 68. And for Thursday, another warm day but still not humid with some sunshine and a high 87.
Discover more of Lancaster. This week, head to Lancaster County to enjoy the fresh air and learn more about the Amish culture. Just a 90-minute drive from Philadelphia. Visit discoverlancaster.com to plan your getaway.
No one is happy to discover that the air conditioner is broken, and it always breaks on the hottest day of the summer in the middle of the night. That's why so many homeowners have Oliver's Peace of Mind membership. For as little as $13 a month, Oliver maintains your home's cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems all year long. Membership also includes annual inspections, exclusive discounts on repairs and replacements, and priority emergency service. Call Oliver today or visit us online at oliverheatcool.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
What happens when Washington liberals spend trillions of dollars? Just look around. Prices are way up. They pushed a bunch of reckless spending, and Senator Bob Casey voted for it. Now we're paying higher gas prices, higher grocery prices, and higher utility bills. Casey helped create this mess by voting with President Biden 98% of the time, including voting for trillions in wasteful spending. Instead of listening to the warnings, Senator Casey sided with the liberals, causing this inflation disaster. Casey voted to let illegals take your tax dollars. He voted to let illegals collect $500 million in COVID relief checks. It's more for illegals and less for us. Come on, Senator Casey. That's just not right. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Summertime is still here, and there is no time like the present to get back out on the roads. You know, my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help you find that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing, you want it, you've earned it. Now go get it with a little help from my friends at Piazza. They have thousands of new as well as certified pre-owned vehicles from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, and so much more. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can always stop by one of their Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers. PIAZZA. They're going to take good care of you. PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you. So let's talk about it as we think about what's going on, the campaign. We talked a lot on Kale and Company about Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, as he's known, because he wants to give out free tampons to boys in the boys' bathrooms as well as girls' bathrooms. That's how he got that nickname, Tampon Tim. I would call him poser. He's a poser, poser Tim. I know we don't have the alliteration there, but this guy loves to pose with his rifle, his weapon of war that he claimed, and we aired the audio all morning long of him saying he wants to ban the weapons like the ones that he carried while in war. And there are multiple times while he was campaigning as a wannabe politician and then as a return career politician. And so he's a poser. He loves to pose with those weapons, love to pose with it, but he's not the real deal. I know there are many Gold Star families who are beginning to speak out. So hopefully we'll bring you that audio in the coming days. The one that was, they're all heart-wrenching, but the one mom, Mrs. Miller, who's speaking out about her 19-year-old son, Kyle. I mean, as a mom of teenage sons, like my heart aches for her. But she is speaking out, and she's saying, this is a guy who abandoned my son. Her son was killed when he went to Iraq. So he served, but Tim Walz did not. He dropped out, and she's calling him a coward and saying that he did not serve as the command sergeant major, and this was somebody that her son, those boys, as we say boys in air quotes, but from her perspective, her son looked to him as a father figure, as somebody he trusted, and these are Gold Star families who, they continue to grieve. Their lives are altered, and they'll never be the same again. And it's amazing to me how this is not getting coverage, of course, from the so-called mainstream media. They're not going to interview these Gold Star families whose sons were either killed or injured during the service of, going into combat. And Tim Walz said, no, I'm not going to do that. Again, this is not the story that the media has continually said, oh, J.D. Vance is questioning the service of somebody who served. And so, nope, it's not what it is. And by the way, J.D. Vance did not question it. He is only quoting the Gold Star families. He's only quoting those who served in the unit and then went on to serve in Iraq in the combat zone, which, by the way, Tim Walz did not. And so J.D. Vance is somebody who is a combat veteran as a Marine and signed up and served. He's somebody who has every right to say those words, stolen valor, because that's what it is. We talked earlier about the story that I had headlined, and we talked about it earlier in Kale and Company, talking about this weird thing that the Harris campaign was, you can look at it yourself. I mean, they were manipulating social media, manipulating news stories so that it would mitigate some negativity when you do a Google search. By the way, why you should get DuckDuckGo. But that's a sin. That is wrong, and they should be censured for that and called out for that. Of course they're not. So we've got that going on. And then as I'm looking through the show sheet, other stories, I talked this morning about the stinking Montgomery County, which is a wealthy county, one of the wealthiest counties in Pennsylvania, the suburbs of Montgomery County, beautiful homes. It's a beautiful place, great schools, higher taxes. If you live in Monco, man, your property taxes and all your taxes, they've gone up not once, but twice. And guess what? They're going up again. But at least, you're going to get free tampoons, as my brother calls them. You're going to get free tampons and free pads in all of these public buildings, courthouses, because, that's the focus in Montgo. They used to be a quarter, but they're saying, no, they should be free. This is ridiculous. And the Shapiro administration and the budget in Pennsylvania spending millions of dollars. This is ridiculous. I mean, I'm a woman. I'm a girl. I support. I don't know. I just think this is ridiculous. If you fall for this, you look at these tax dollars going to this stuff, and it's just ridiculous and stupid to do this, because first and foremost, to put it in a men's bathroom, that's wrong. Number one. Number two, and they want to give them out for free, by the way, in schools. That's ridiculous too. It's ridiculous. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think we should give out all this free stuff. Free tampons, free pads. It's crazy. It's just so annoying. It is. Henry, what other... Oh, you wanted to go to oysters. From tampons to oysters. You want to talk about the New Jersey oyster scene is not just back, it's producing world-class oysters.
I mean, who wouldn't be thrilled with that? Honestly, I mean, there's nothing better than a good oyster sometimes, like a hot summer day.
Okay.
Coming down, a little appetizer before your meal. Squeeze a little lemon, right?
I don't know. You got to be careful because they're raw. You eat the raw oysters?
Yeah, of course.
With the horseradish?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I love me some toppings.
You do?
Oh, yeah. With a little cocktail sauce, a little lemon. Can't beat it.
Well, they're saying they're back. Did Rich Cioli talk about this yet? Rich Cioli loves...
I didn't even know they left.
Rich talks about this all the time. He loves the oysters and the clams and all the seafood.
Yeah, one of the times we were down at the Grand Hotel, he insisted on the oysters Rockefeller.
He did?
Yeah, and we got a few orders of that.
I never got that when I was doing this Yoli show.
You guys were doing it in the morning, too.
Must be nice. Wow.
At dinner time, it's perfect.
Must be nice. Yeah, I know he'll be talking about this. But, okay, I don't know what that means as far as it's good for the New Jersey oyster, the oyster. I don't know. Maybe it's since they've stopped all the wind turbine construction.
Yeah, you'd think that would help a little bit.
I have no idea. But I'm glad for it. Because I'm glad you got your oysters Rockefeller. How much money was it? It's still way more expensive.
It was on the Odyssey card, so I have no idea.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Jimmy Kelly, did you get any free oysters?
I'm afraid I missed out on that one. And I've been working the Zioli show for the last 2 days.
And you got no free oysters?
Nothing for me. No.
This is months ago. This is Memorial Day weekend.
So just for the record, we're not we're not in Montgomery County, so we're not getting any free tampons.
No, afraid no.
No free oysters either.
And no
apparently.
free oysters. Yeah. Nothing free for us.
Nope.
Huh. We got that going. Do we have to take a quick break?
Yes,
we do.
Quick
break. We do. Be right back.
Hey everyone, it's Donald Trump Jr. Join me and Dom Giordano Thursday, September 12th at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey for the next Politics and Pints with WPHT. We will talk all things Trump, the 2024 election, and my father's book, Letters to Trump. South Jersey and PA suburbs are hugely important to electing Donald Trump president. Just head to 1210WPHT.com for tickets right now. Hope to see you there.
You have key decisions to make about your money. Most investors don't beat the market, and neither do the hedge funds, who take a share of your profits. What if there was another way? A way for you to keep total control over your money where the interests were aligned. That's what the exclusive crash-proof retirement system is all about.
Mike Bisaccia from Logan Township, New Jersey. You can't follow the market because nobody can predict it. What you have today could be gone tomorrow. That's the way it works, up and down, and your money goes up and down. That's what led me to see if there was another alternative. Crash-proof retirement gave me that alternative. With crash-proof retirement, the money you make is credited to your account, and that money's yours. No ifs, ands, or buts, no worries. No fees. We had a high point of 13.5%. Once it's credited, it's your money to keep. That's a big deal.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you are never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you're injured in an accident, we will work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say it won't cost you a dime up front, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Cozy Jewelers is the place to go to for exquisite engagement rings. Thinking about popping the question this summer? Whether you buy something off the shelf or go for a custom engagement ring, Cozy is there for you and will make sure you get the perfect ring thanks to Cozy's 5 C's. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and the Cozy touch. This summer, begin a lifetime of happiness with a ring from Cozy. Go to Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square or shop online at CozyJewelers.com. That's CozyJewelers.com. And step up to the 5th C, COZZI.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me, 40 days up to 40 pounds. Visit NJDiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
If the summer heat hasn't convinced you to replace your old windows and doors, then maybe my good friends at Guided Door and Window can help by giving you an extra month to do so at their best prices of the year. Take advantage of Guida's big summer sale and receive 40% off each window you buy. That's right, 40% off all expertly installed high-performance triple-pane windows. And 40% off any high-quality door, including insulated entry doors, sliding patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can easily buy now and pay later with Guida's low monthly payment plans or interest-free financing up to 18 months. Don't wait until fall like everyone else to replace your windows and doors. You need to go Guida right now so you can take advantage of these huge savings. All prior sales excluded. Offer expires at the end of August. So call Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
Hey, this is the Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. This is our equity inclusion poll. I just want to know, Dom Giordano, did you get all of these trays of free Oysters Rockefeller? Did you get this? Did you and Big Dan get this?
No, who did get that?
The Zioli Show.
Oh, what was that about?
Yeah, Henry
down
saying
at the Grand Hotel. After the
well,
show.
wait a minute.
Okay.
Mulligan's, I can't say. I'm not disclosed to reveal all that we get at Mulligan's, though. But I'm not a fan of Oysters Rockefeller anyhow.
Okay.
There's both things I don't like, the oysters and Rockefeller.
Really? Could eat the Rockefeller part all day.
All right. So, hey, Johnny Z listening, Dawn, I'm sure at Mulligan's he's preparing something more spectacular. We're going to have an arms race here with the Zioli Show.
They've got a great Clams Casino soup.
There you go.
Ooh, yummy. Well, we got the soup, we got the clams, we got the oysters, and a great Dom show all teed up. What a treat.